It's time to be heroes. Do your part today.
What's going on, Chubube? Welcome back to the Plot Coalition YouTube channel. Today we are going to be streaming, but I wanted to make you aware of what we are streaming for and what this is all about. There's currently a charity fundraiser going on by the Freedom Alliance, who is raising money for Save the Children. Myself and a bunch of other Helldivers creators are supporting this event and will be streaming throughout the week, as well as participating in the first ever community major order hosted by Commissar Kai. So if you want to get involved in that major order, go ahead and check out his YouTube channel for all of the details. We're also doing a giveaway for this event where you can have a chance to win a digitally signed For Liberty display poster. It looks like this. It's pretty cool, and it's got our names on it. But everybody lives all over the world, so we couldn't physically sign it, but it's digitally signed with the same love and care that went into the film. So go ahead and check out the links in the description below to learn more about how to participate in that. And otherwise, enjoy the event. That's pretty much it. All right, you're here to watch a live stream, not watch a pre-recorded video of me. So we're going to end this now and jump over to the live stream. So let's get over there to the live. Away from me. This is me stalling. Or maybe this is live. You never know. That's the last time you're gonna have to watch that intro video. But yeah, this is the end of the stream-a-thon. At least my contribution to it, and the end for a lot of creators of the Heroes 2026 event. So thank you all for showing up throughout the week and showing up tonight. It's pretty cool. We're going to be doing some director's commentary tonight on the first 2 episodes, and then we might work a little bit on episode 3. We'll kind of see how I'm feeling, where things are at. I will be honest. I am like streaming every night on top of having a full-time job, on top of being a parent and working on the episode 3. It does become quite a bit. I can barely stream once a week, but for the charity fundraiser, I figured I would commit to streaming every single day. You can see even my hair is losing its mind. But yeah, I figured some director's commentary would be like a cool, chill way to kind of just go over the first 2 episodes in a way that hasn't really been. Yeah, I saw Yed Pryor had been. I am slowly becoming Batman. That Yed Pryor had become liberated. That's super cool. I don't know if the Classa is going to be taken. But it's super cool to see that part of the community major order happen, and the stealing of the DSS and everything. Is just overall, like, it's been such a cool event to be a part of, and especially being like in the group every time we've hit like a milestone for the donations, which let's quick donation check. What are we up to? $232,900. Oh, just went up $45. Oh, $50.85. It went up twice while I was trying to read off the number. Also, because it is the last stream, it is your last opportunity to be chosen to or like can be random. I am losing my mind. Randomly chosen to also get the digitally signed For Liberty display poster. So if you make a donation to the charity, just fill out the form that we have below. It's got like 3 or 4 questions on it, and then we will randomly select one of those, verify that it's a legitimate purchase with Save the Children and Tiltify, and then we'll send that person the poster. So pretty excited about that as well. It's just been such a cool event to be a part of all around, and getting to meet a lot of the other Helldivers 2 creators. I will say that's been a little bit it's been interesting on my side, because it's really put into perspective how much my channel has grown, especially because it's like I didn't anticipate the growth of it per se. Like when I put out For Liberty, before the trailer came out, we were probably around 25,000 subs, something like that, which was already like huge, because when I did New Frontiers, it was around 10,000 subs, and then that's where it was for a long time, by the end of that series. And then going into For Liberty, it was around 25, and then it just went through the roof and has been climbing since then. But it hasn't felt like it, and I think it's because of like the whole wave of subscribers that came in when the movie came out, and then like the people continuing to sub as we've been putting out the show, and so now being where we are now, and then like seeing like a lot of the other content creators, big or small, and then like people knowing who I am, and like about my stuff. It's just it's been it's been interesting. But we got Mad Dog and Flame, and I saw Luke in the chat earlier, and Ghosty. All of our members, thank you so much for making Heroes of the Galactic War a reality. Because without you, it'd be even tougher. You guys make it possible to help me able to afford the show and get people paid up. For episode 3, I was able to spin up to get our animation team a little bit more set up and squared away ahead of time, which definitely feels good, and I hope I can continue to level it up and be able to help people out even more. But all right, we're gonna get right into this. We're gonna get right into the director's commentary for episode 1 of Heroes of the Galactic War. And this is the Polar Patriots and Masters of Ceremony episode. So we'll go through it, and I'll leave my commentary. I'll pause in places where I think it might be. I probably won't be as in depth or methodical as Sam Filmmaker gets with his director's commentaries, but I'll do my best. Let's get right into it. I think going right into, well, I'll kind of talk through each thing as it happens. I won't get ahead of myself. So this one was made in 7 weeks, and then episode 2 was 9. But I was gonna say, fun fact about the opening theme, when Owen first wrote it, he like showed it to me, and it was like 5 minutes long, and I was like, dude, I don't even know which part you cut down to make this like 30 seconds or whatever. But he made it work. But the full version is just as incredible. Turn this up a little bit for you guys. Okay. So this is something else that I'm finding now that we're also working with like other writers, and I was going back through some of my other work, and like For Liberty was like the first time in a long time that I wrote something that like, to me, I was like, this is more of like to have fun, more of a playground kind of place. But as I've been working with the other writers, which for this first set of 8 episodes, it's myself, Wasp Optic, Luke Ryan, and Kevin Lauer. We're writing these first 8 episodes, and I'm like, oh, I'm like the weighty, really depressing writer. I don't know if that says something about me or not, but literally open it up on a funeral. Oh wait, is this the version without music? It is. Hold up. What am I doing? What am I doing? Amateur hour over here. Jeez Louise, I can't even speak. What? Was there music on there? Oh, it's just really quiet on the... Probably because I just have this turned down. Look at me. Okay. Go into this. Jeez Louise. Already off to a worse start. Designing the super hearses as they were named in the script. Hold on, wait a minute, something ain't right. Yeah, designing these with Langdon was a good time. Danny did all the 3D models in this episode. I do have multiple versions marked file. Well, so in my finals folder, I made sure to put, it's just like the finished version and then the version without music. But these visuals were also just something that like I had kind of in my mind the whole time going into it. And then I wanted to talk a little bit about the pendant, because I feel like it's something that we got like really down pat. Because I remember when we were going into the designs for this, oh, thank you, Foxy. That means a lot. I feel you on the writing thing. I design NPCs, PCS for my friends that are DMs, and I always give them darker and grittier tones. But yeah, so to mention on this a little bit, when we were talking about like, all right, how do we make like a pendant that like feels like a religious symbol, but is also like in the world of Helldivers. And when we were looking for things around Lady Liberty specifically, there were only 2 images. We scoured the internet to to find them, and one of them is on the it's not Machinery of Oppression, Omens of Tyranny. On the Omens of Tyranny art, splash art, there's like the head of Lady Liberty, and then in the like the Story So Far video, the stylized one, there's a shot of it. And so we took that as inspiration, and Danny did a wonderful job designing this 3D model that also just kind of had, I was like, I kind of wanted to have like, I was like, I don't want it to be like a perfect cross, because I don't want it to look like a crucifix. So I was like, maybe like some sort of diamond shape would be cool. And then she came up with the like using the flag and the sword to kind of create a half diamond shape around it, which kind of goes out this way. So it's just like it's little things like that, and getting that right was just like super cool to see come together.
Keep taking that out. It's gonna rust. You think he was right?
I also get a lot of comments, positive and negative, about having a character with a stutter. it's all about making believable characters. And whether it happened, from the war or something that he's lived with his entire life, who knows? I think it's I think it's one of those things that communicates a lot in a very short amount of time, which is like the case with all these episodes. Is you have to get so much characterization across, and get the audience bought into it, and there are going to be some audience members who don't buy into it, and I guess my movie's just not for them, but to me, it's a matter of like making each character feel unique in their own way, and there's an interesting dichotomy with the way that we've set this up, where it's like we have this squad where there's like you get like the sense that some of them have been together longer than others, but then there's also like this new guy who like just inherently is more likable by the rest of the squad. Not even likable, but just like, fits in, gets the lingo kind of a thing. Which is really, it's a real thing that happens, with other, real life military units. And so like, that's something that we wanted to do well here.
Hawkins, no. Moving on that bunker.
But Sean and Aiden definitely killed it as these two characters.
Not the bunker.
Also, for anybody wondering, the green tenderizer was like, it's in the game files, but I don't think it ever made it into the game. Joe from GWR here. How's it going? Holy absolute cinema. Good to see you. Good to see you. Glad to have you here.
What he believed about the fields of prosperity. That's old world religion, kid. Humankind was never united under that way of thinking. But why did he believe it?
I also, when I was like originally writing this, the hole was a lot smaller, but then it was just like difficult to block cinematography around. So I made it a little bit larger. Like they were like supposed to be like densely packed in there, in this little foxhole. But I don't know, there's just something like I love like in like World War II movies and stuff where they're like the discussions like at night in the trenches and stuff. Like I love that kind of thing, and so that's kind of what I was playing with here, and like just this like in my head canon, I'm like they could be here for like up to 2 days just like waiting for this to happen, and like they've just been sitting in this hole. I just thought that was like an interesting setting that like you don't often get to see. The scene feels very Star Wars-y. Interesting. White Wolf and Winter Warrior duos are my most favorite in that episode.
How should I know? Watch your cave.
That simulation of the cape was a pain in the butt to do.
We always talked about like
this whole scene. I think I've mentioned it before. I thought it was going to be a lot easier to do because I'm like, yeah, they're just talking. Like I'll just constrain like their arms and their legs and whatever, and like when I do the motion capture, I'll lean up against something, it'll be fine. It was a huge pain in the butt to do. This scene, them laying down and having this dialogue, was more difficult than all of the motorcycle stuff in episode 2.
greater purpose about Lady Liberty. The greatest purpose you can have is serving Super Earth. That's what he did, and it's all you should be thinking about in that rattled brain of yours. I told you that.
This is this sign. I can't remember what this sign. It's one of the ones from the training, but I just retextured it.
Well,
And the sun coming across the helmet, I think is I'm surprised how much I got away with it from like the amount of times that it happens in the film. It works, and it's a storytelling device, and like it's doing exactly what it's supposed to. But like I watched this back recently, and I was like, man, like I hit that motif multiple times in 10 minutes, and I hope it wasn't too much.
what about the new guy? Seif never transfers death captains. What if there's a
Where did the deeper religious-esque dialogue come from? Was there a specific thought or point behind it, or was it more to have an interesting conversation? It was a little bit of both in that regard. I think it's an interesting conversation or dialogue to have when it's like, you know, you have because the whole almost all's quiet on the Western Front thing with Helldivers, where it's like, you know, you're a young kid, you're going to war, and you're pumped up, and like, yeah, like you've been so souped up with the propaganda that you go out there and you think, you know, you're invincible. They're giving you a gun. Guns are friggin' cool. And then like, you know, then you experience like your friends or your comrades dying around you, and it's like, you know, in Helldivers, you know, what happens when somebody starts thinking about that because they're in a scenario in which they survived. And that was like one rule I was okay with, like pushing a little bit more with this series specifically, because I do kind of separate it where it's like the B01 Helldivers, the standard Helldivers are like that's those are your only lives for 2 minutes kind of Helldivers. But then when you get into like specific Warbond armors, and when they're themed around like something like this, where it's like, you know, they're Arctic themed, they're more like special operations units that, you know, would more realistically live a little bit longer. They wouldn't give them specific gear if they thought they were gonna die immediately. So around that, it was like, okay, like, you know, this kid, you know, there's a whole backstory for each of them, but like, you know, let's just say he was like a member of Seif, never really saw any combat, you know, worked in harsher environments, and then got transferred and trained up to be in special forces, had a really good team, their team leader died, and now he's like thinking about that. I think that already inherently makes for something interesting and brings weight to like the fact that, you know, like it's death is so common, and then it's like, well, what happens when you start thinking about that? So it was a little bit about wanting to explore that through Helldivers, and then with the Lady Liberty and the Fields of Prosperity and stuff, we did some like deep lore hunting between Helldivers 1 and 2 as much as we could. There's not a whole lot, and then just like Sweden and Norse mythology and all that. On my laptop right now, but college comes first. Education is important. And yes, Grape, I did say the word ICBM.
He's here instead of Hawkins.
Only reason he's here is to get a cosign on his CO1.
She's also your shipmaster.
Which reminds me, she asked me this.
For anybody who doesn't know, this is Evan Boy Mel, better known as Viper from Titanfall 2.
Morning to tell you to bring back more samples. You think you can do that, Paul? And don't wheel in a bunch of that low-effort common bullshit.
Yeah.
I want to get the end of it, Paul. Come on. And as for you, kid, the Tundra's taught me that you can believe in whatever the hell you want.
A bullet to the face is still a bullet to the face. Only reason I'm here is because this whole...
experiencing what it's like in the rare moments where Helldivers get to know each other and have history rather than exploding off drop. Exactly. And I think that's something that you can explore in the world of Helldivers if you like kind of start building your own rules around it. And that's why with the Warbond specifically, I was like, they can have backstory. Like they have to get to this point somehow to not be in B01 armor and just, you know, thrown into the meat grinder. So like the Apollyon and Bleeding Edge armors from Control Group, like I think in universe, those are like the equivalent of like $5 million suits. So they wouldn't just hand those to somebody that didn't know what they were doing. You had a friend who failed college classes because of Monster Hunter. Honestly, kind of based.
This fella isn't.
Chit-chat's over, lovebirds.
Train's entering the station, and we're T-minus 27 seconds from the blackout.
Also, just setting this in during an eclipse was like, it's one of those things. It used to happen all the time in the game, and like certain planets, it still does happen. But like, it's such an interesting device to use. But like, it has like all sorts of thematic things in the story and whatever. But like, just like in the world of Helldivers, you can use this and have it make sense and like push the whole thing from being like broad daylight, which I really wanted for the beginning. Then it goes completely dark and blinding for like the action bit of it. And then it's golden hour for the end. And that can only happen in this scenario. Like, sure, like you could have like a storm roll and whatever, but like the thematics with like the sun going behind the moon and stuff, there's just so many good things about it. Holy, chat just started going crazy. The full White Wolf armor set will never be as good as the White Wolf armor plus Champion of the People helmet. Mr. Boy Mel, will he own the sky? He will. Just vibing and diving. This community rocks. Hey, Hell Viber. Good to see you. Good to see you. Or take a little bit of break. Let's see. Has that number gone up? 233,105. 233,105. That's incredible. That's $113,000 more than last year. That's insane.
You sleep at him.
Oh, like when it's dark and all you see is the lasers and the red eyes. Yeah.
Make this count, because I'm already frostbitten and the cold front isn't even here yet. Gent to SCS, Dawn of Liberty. Requesting fire on my mark in 4, 3, 2, 1.
SCS Dawn of Liberty to Kent. Commencing orbital strike. Cluster bombs inbound. Impact in 3, 2, 1.
I am a sucker for these shots that just show like miles of landscape and that delay in the like the sound and everything. Like anytime that happens in a movie, I'm like, ooh, it's so good. If I don't remember that mission, that's what the whole film is about, is launching the ICB. I was saying the sign isn't in the game. I made the sign, but I made it from one of the training signs. And then, like, just made an ICBM version of it. Also, that comp of that explosion, I'm pretty happy with.
I just... You're scared, kid. We all are. Get off your cape. They're never gonna give you a new one if you keep that up.
10, 9, 8.
Patty's patriotic paradigm for preparing for planet.
That was a tough limerick to come up with. I forget what I used as like a base. But coming up with a Helldivers version, Patty is a patriotic paradiver preparing for planetfall. That one took me a little bit to think up.
7, 6.
What was more impressive was that Aiden Robert was able to recite that 5 times fast in his recording, and I was like, I have no idea how you did that.
5, reloading. 4.
Everybody talks about this transition to the funeral with the 21 gun salute, which I've also there's been comments I've seen and gotten about the idea that Helldivers get funerals, and like that wouldn't happen. It 100% would. And here's the thing with Helldivers that I don't think people 100% register, is that there are so many humans that we fully occupy Earth and the rest of the galaxy. It's not like Titanfall. I feel like the lore of Titanfall is like we need to get out of here because it's overcrowded and there are problems. So let's get folks, out. And then like try to find a place to put all these people. But it wouldn't be like, even in the Titanfall universe, there wouldn't be enough humans to like even put like hold a candle to the amount that have to be in Helldivers. So holding these funerals and stuff, they don't necessarily need to be held on Super Earth. Like they could be held on any number of planets. And like, as we see, like the body doesn't even necessarily need to come back. So, oh my gosh, he's a fan of Titanfall. I am. It's crazy because the Illuminates stay stacked on vote lists and flesh mobs with the amount of humans that occupy the galaxy. Exactly. Like billions. We took out 25 million vote lists in less than a weekend. All right. Like that doesn't make a dent. So there are so many humans in the Helldivers universe that these funerals 100% could happen. They'd be happening like all the time, but they would still take place. Especially if like, they just had to put them in like put the body in a cryopod and have the the funeral a few months later, whatever they do, it would still 100% happen. Especially just because like it's kind of shown a little bit later, or like kind of hinted to, just the idea of like it's a way for them to further the propaganda. Also, you want to make your CG more realistic. I love... Oh, 2 other things. Sorry, I'm getting off track now. Let me point this out real quick. Okay. So the way that the bokeh is in this shot, this is what's called Petsfield bokeh. And I had watched a keynote on the like one of the Witcher, the Witcher 4 cinematic trailer that they made in Unreal, and they were like, oh yeah, and like as of the version of Unreal Engine that I was using, they were like, as of that version, we've also added that bokeh profile to it. And I was like, I'll put that on every shot. So that's why the bokeh has this like swirly look to it in the funeral scenes, and I used it exclusively for that. I haven't used it since this film, and I probably won't use it again until probably episode 6 is like the only one where I could think it could be used narratively, but it was one of those things. I was watching a keynote, this was just like standard like out of focus bokeh, and then they were like Petsville bokeh is in there, and I was like, I'm using that today. Helldiver probably would get funeral, but they probably be mostly empty coffins. Probably, but they would still 100% do them. I wonder how would the overseer population apply with the appropriators, though, because there's little few of the squids left. I'm not sure what that means. Those body bags in the training grounds didn't get funerals. Hey. You don't know. You don't know. They're there when you get there. That doesn't mean they're not being dragged out and given a little, you know, glorification. To, you know, it's kind of like, it's, again, I'm going back to Titanfall because, like, it's the other universe that I'm a friggin' nerd about. But, like, the whole thing with, like, pilots is, like, you know, it's, like, less than 1% or whatever of, like, everybody who goes through pilot training actually succeeds. It's, like, the same kind of thing where it's, like, you know, like, oh, he died in Helldiver's training, but did he at least get to the part where he fights the bugs? Please tell me so I can know my son died an honorable death. Beautiful shots with the wear and tear of the helmet being highlighted by the sun. Oh, yeah. No, I love that shot coming up here. What I was saying before. Photographing an eclipse is incredibly difficult. And I figured, I was like, photographing an eclipse while a blizzard is coming on, that would probably be even more difficult. So intentionally making like the focus miss is like chef's kiss for me anyway. I'm pretty sure I comped that blur too. So I didn't do it in Unreal. I think I did it after the fact when I was doing the comp. Ever wonders what happens when you've evacuated 30 out of 30 civilians and then press the button for 3 more voteless rip? Bro didn't dive in front of the turret. Yeah, that's what Mrs. Coalition did the other day. That'd be crazy cinematic, just collecting capes across the fronts that get added to a forever expanding monument. There is a forever expanding monument. There's the Wall of Martyrs in Helldivers. Which we did think about using instead of the funeral, was having them on the Wall of Martyrs. And then we have to do it in the funeral for a number of reasons, but that was talked about because it is a real thing in Helldivers. But yes, I do like this shot. It's a good one. This is another one that just like was in my head going into it, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. My big old noggin is blocking them right now. But I really like the way this one came together.
Get on those logs. Mine is 23 already.
Yeah, Laura.
Well, what's happening?
Bot triggered a distress signal. Deactivating second log.
Yay, blah.
Third block open!
This was another thing that like I intentionally envisioned and designed early on was when I was going through the game and like, you know, like figuring out what I wanted to do with the ICBM launch as part of the cinematic. Here, one being able to see the locks go in from above, but then also just like the spinning lights. I was like, that's such a cool thing to use, and then just have that basically be like an Interstellar when the Matthew McConaughey is crying on the ship and he keeps getting overexposed. I was like, we can kind of do that here, and just have that be the only light source. Everything else is overcast and super dark because of the storm. But then just so the only things that can light it up are gunfire, these lights, and then the automaton ship lights, and their helipads. And I really like the way that looks.
Heat signatures detected. Hot spot inbound. Moving into cover fire.
This is like a bucket list shot for me. I didn't realize it was a bucket list shot until I was doing it, and then I was like, "This is such a cool type of shot." I'm really glad that this is in here.
I've got the coordinates, but I need that lock open now. Performing a manual override. On it.
So this is another thing where like I really like the blocking of this and everything, and the way that it's shot and the ship coming over to like just give that the red lighting and the presence of danger and all that. But something that I feel like I didn't do a good job of communicating in this moment, and it's kind of hard to like talk about or visualize without like showing in closer detail. But in the Polar Patriots War Bond, the helipads are not touchscreen. They're all tactile buttons, except for maybe the Arctic Ranger might be a touchscreen. I don't quite remember, but the other ones, they have physical buttons instead of being something that you tap. And so like the idea here being when it gets too cold, he can't use the touch screen, so that's why he pulls out of the terminal and he plugs it into his helipad instead, which is also a way to take the like kind of the bulkiest character who would probably be the most effective technically in like a fight like this, and have him tethered to the objective to where he can't leave.
Kid, prepare to go hot.
Affirm!
Keep your distance.
Bowden did an incredible job animating this shot with the Winter Warrior. Also, Carson's music here is... The automaton ship is still my favorite shot of the whole episode. It's super cool. I love the scene with the Hulk. Hulk's coming up. This was also like right when I first started experimenting with like, we should start doing in engine visual effects, because with the speed that we make the show, it's like we need something faster than going like taking every shot out, especially because there was so much snow in this, and it's all getting illuminated and stuff. And like I could comp it all, but that would be incredibly time consuming for what could be a lackluster result. So like in this case, the fire that hit the ground, that's comped, but everything else is in-engine visual effects. So this fire is comped in, everything else is in-engine.
Flores, cover me!
Wait! We've got more incoming! Tagging!
It's free! Grand pool.
Also, for all the comments that don't say, he did stim right there.
Your rifle. Dawson.
Currently authorized.
There's Grape.
Emergency launch initiated. Evacuate intercontinental ballistic missile site immediately. Launching in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Something that has actually been in all three Helldivers films so far that we've done. In For Liberty, in episode 1, and in episode 2, and it's something that I think it adds so much more to the tension and makes it so much better is whenever you do a timer or a countdown, just start that whenever you want it to go off, or figure out what the timing is. So in like For Liberty, it was the hell bomb at the end of the film. Like that was timed out in the storyboards of like, you know, she's gonna arm it at this point, and then like there's only 30 seconds left until it blows up. And this one, it's Grape's voiceover doing the countdown. Yeah, Grape did voice that. And then in episode 2, it's when the John Doe steps out with the bomb strapped to his chest. Where it starts at 55 seconds is because it doesn't detonate until 55 seconds later. And so in the script, Kevin had originally written 30 seconds. But that just wasn't working with everything else that happens in between that time, which like you could always be like, well, all these things are happening at the same time. But to me, I'm like, just show the time, and in like the audience will subconsciously start tracking it and just roll with that. Another visual that was like all the there are so many of these visuals that I had in my head originally, but there was something just about like this shot specifically with something going up and like, you know, there being so much intense heat that like it just starts wrapping around. Like that was something I really wanted to get in there too.
At this time, I would like to present the families with the capes of the fallen. They were honorable soldiers.
Probably the second best facial motion capture that we've done.
They were honorable.
It's so like it's so close. We're getting it there. The best that we've done is the Red Dead Redemption short, but that is because the actors actually did the mocap and the facial motion capture at the exact same time. And we got like the highest fidelity of it. But so this was taking Duncan's vocal performance, lip syncing that, and then I redid the performance, and then basically like took keyframes from both of those and mishmashed it to work here, and it is super close. So we are doing another attempt in episode 3 to try and push it even closer to what we want to be able to do, because so many of us are doing this remotely, and so we don't have the luxury of being able to do it, you know, in a studio or whatever. It's so cool seeing this face, and my brain is like, yeah, that's a real human. Yeah, it's crazy how much better it's gotten.
Full soldiers. And
like, I remember the old Halo cinematics and being like, whoa, that's it. And then when we were doing it here, I was like, this reminds me just like of that.
the greatest heroes Super Earth could have asked for.
This was one of the hardest characters to put together in the whole film. That was a whole debacle. The wife character. She was incredibly difficult because the outfit wasn't working. It was an extreme issue. She went through like probably three or four different outfits before we landed on one that worked enough for the like 2 shots she's in.
They earned it.
Another helmet motif. This was another thing that like I just so badly wanted, was like having the explosion be so bright that you can't even see it, but the shockwave and all the clouds evaporating. Like when I got that, which is again is another in-engine effect that's not comped. I was super proud of that when I got that. Miss Wife. Yeah, and the hair texture did turn out good on her too.
As is customary with the Federation's embrace, please stand and salute for the Super Earth national anthem. Freedom must reign over every land.
These coffins were another Danny Langdon 3D model that just looks incredible. These models paired with the new substrate material system that we're using, it's just so good. Stream overlay is freaking out. What does that mean? I hope it's not too bad.
Last star through citizens' blood spilled in our righteous wars.
I also want to point out, I don't want to talk about this. I want to talk about this for a second because we're doing we're doing more in episode. Yeah, the coffin is really well made. But just like how much further metahumans have come. Because like the getting skin texture and stuff like this wasn't available on metahumans until recently, and there's some like tricks and stuff. I'll probably end up making a tutorial around it, because like a lot of people, they do metahumans and they all just like they come out exactly the same, but there are little like things you can do that just like trigger your brain in a specific way, and like just the fact that they can look this good and also not be distinguished as metahumans. Metahumans used to have like such a specific look, and you know, a lot of that has to do with lighting and all these different things. but like it's to a point now where you can where you can get off the sense of that trail enough to where you can just like have that all go away, and then it just becomes a person, not a metahuman, which is like pretty cool to see. And knowing, this is the other crazy thing. I've been saying this for years since I started doing this. I was like, the crazy thing about this is it's the worst it's ever gonna be. That's mind-boggling. What we're doing today is the worst stuff we'll ever put out. There will probably be a day where like things flatten out a bit, because they're only like, to me, everything that's advanced in the last 5 years, there's only a small handful of things that still need to be fixed. But when they do, like, I don't even know where it goes from there, honestly. Like, but I feel like it'll be in a prime position to be able to create at this level and higher, because this is like legitimately like like if you go back, each film we've put out, there's a substantial jump, and like, but even with that, it's like that just proves that it's going to be the worst. This is the worst it will look. Imagine if one of the episodes is just stick figure drawings. Hey, you never know. There'll be some good-looking stick figures, though. Let me tell you.
Honor their deaths. Do your parts for the cause. Steadfast support of our regime is how humankind reigns supreme. No questions or doubt shall be allowed. Traitors will all be disavowed.
This shot was incredibly hard to animate because the constraints kept breaking, where they were putting their, like, they had their hands on and then the constraint would break. I've heard all these issues have been fixed, but the way that I ended up having to do this was I constrained a sphere to the Kodiak's shoulder and then broke that constraint, constrained it to his hand around the same placement, and had it go down. And then I deleted both rigs, and then I reconstrained his hand to the sphere since it had all the transform data, and then I just put an invisible material on the sphere. And so that's the way that I had to animate that shot, because it kept breaking. So you can watch it back here.
No doubt shall be allowed. Traitors will all be disavowed. Managed democracy is the true path. All who resist it shall suffer our wrath. White, yellow, blue, flying on all the worlds. Justice and hope.
I suppose this is another thing to talk about. In our system, working with metahumans now and everything, this would have been even let's just go back to when I first started. This would be so costly, it would not be worth it. To make an outfit swap of a character, to make put them in a different hairstyle, do some makeup on them, all that jazz, and prep it for just this one shot would have been so costly, even just from a time consumption standpoint, that it would not be worth it to do it here. Nowadays, because, to explain a little bit why, metahumans used to be exclusive to the MetaHuman Creator website. So you used to have to do it on a website, and then you would have to open up a bridge application to download the MetaHuman and import it into Unreal. So you were limited to what was in the web browser, and then like if you wanted to do clothing or anything, which was incredibly difficult, the way that we used to do MetaHumans was I would just take the MetaHuman head and I would either shrink the body or delete it entirely. There was a point where there was a bug where you couldn't delete it anymore. So I'd shrink it way down, scale up the head, make the materials on the rest of the body like invisible or whatever, like cut out. And then I would drop that body onto like an armor set or whatever. Now, the MetaHumans actually wear the outfits, the armors as clothing, which makes it so much more optimal for animation and stuff, and prevents so many crashes and whatnot. But all that to say, there were so many laborious steps to go through, whereas here, I already had the parade outfit set up, or not the parade. What is that one called? I don't remember what it's called, but I already had this set up because it's what is on the guardsmen who are, firing earlier on at the funeral, and folding the flag and stuff. So it was already set up. So I was able to just take a copy of her MetaHuman, throw on different hair, do a little bit of makeup, throw on this outfit, hit export, and bam, we had a completely new character for just one shot. It was, I even did it when I was at the time when I was doing it. I was like, do I need to like make a fake like additional shot for like a trailer or something? But we did not have the time or anything.
White, yellow, blue, flying on all the worlds. Justice and hope are forever unfurled. Our way of life, galaxy-wide. There's
a guy on YouTube. He's made reaction videos for Liberty in these first two episodes. And he got to this part and he was like, these people are evil. He was like, not the characters in the movie, the people making this are evil. They're going to make us watch this. They're going to make us watch her die. And it's, it's one of those storytelling things, where like, to me, it was an important way to do it, because like so often in Hollywood and stuff, it's too glorified, like the deaths are too like, oh, they went down fighting or whatever. But like when somebody dies, it's like when the lights go out and it's just like it's haunting. And that's like what I wanted to try and capture in animation, which I feel like I did a pretty decent job of. But yeah, it's one of those, like, even in the writing and how I wanted this to accomplish to come across, and I feel like it does pretty well. I wanted it to be one of those things where it's like, it's just breath, and then like, an incomplete one, because that's the other thing about the way that she dies. She doesn't even exhale, which is like, just one of those things that you would like. Even if she exhaled, it would make it a little bit more Hollywoodified of like, oh, her last breath escaping. Like, this is just like, like whatever that breath is, it's not forced. That would just be the air, because now there's just a cavity. That's how I wanted it to come across here. Everyone dies, not everyone gets a cool death. Exactly. Until we get to episode 2, but we'll save that one.
Paved with the skulls of those who've died. Unslackable tide of super Earth pride. A torrent that can't be satisfied. We sacrifice for paradise. Anything less will not.
I'll also be honest. The war bond medal is another, like, it does look cool, but I was not 100. I knew for sure I wanted to use the Super Earth National Anthem as a spoken word to do this part, but I wasn't sure how it was going to work, like, and if it would work narratively. And Duncan gave such a killer performance. It makes it. Duncan's performance paired with Owen's music and the characterization that all the voice actors brought, and then of course like all the work that the animators and stuff did, like to build up to this moment, like hits so well. Anytime I watch it uninterrupted, it gives me chills.
Suffice. Citizens rise. Liberty rise. Super Earth rise up to the skies. Stay free. For liberty. For democracy. For Super Earth.
There it is. That's episode 1. I still love the way this one turned out. He did do such a good job. Incredible. All right, let's move on to episode 2. Huge tonal change up, and let's address that a little bit. So, this was, first of all, this was always part of the plan. Just so everybody knows. When we were talking about doing, there were so many, and there were so many who auditioned, and many of them were so good. It was really hard to pick. It was, for sure. It's always a tough pick. You know, me and Mrs. Coalition will be going at it, trying to figure out what it comes down to. This one is a bit more goofy. Episode 2 is a whole lot more goofy, and I'll explain why right after this. What are we at? 233,555. Well, last time I checked, it went up multiple times. 233,555.85. So let's see here. The fundraiser still has 5 hours left. I will not be staying up for 5 more hours, but it has 5 hours left. At its current rate, I'm going to guess it'll probably squeak out just over 235,000. I don't think we're going to hit 250,000, which would be crazy to raise $250,000 for charity, but it is getting there. But for any of you watching, if you want to go and donate and then potentially get, you know, for Liberty, a digitally signed For Liberty display, go and donate and then fill out the form in the description. 240,000 is my guess. I mean, anything at this point, wherever it stops, is insane. Crossing 200,000 was insano. Mrs. Coalition has been and will be 240. We'll find out. I'll wake up in the morning and see. Okay, going into why is this one so tonally different. So my whole goal with this, and like with the channel in general, so originally is that just raw donations or including everything else? It doesn't include everything. It doesn't include the auction yet, or the merch sales. So it is very likely over 250,000, but just in donations, it's up to 235, which again, insane, or 233. So insane. I can guarantee that between the auction and the merch sales, at the current donation number, last I heard where the auction was, we're probably looking at something that is over a $250,000. I bought one of the shirts, looking forward to getting it. That's awesome. That's so cool. You have a piece of history now, of gaming history. Okay, going into why the Goof Show. So back when I started the channel and decided to start going the path of anthology because I didn't want to get stuck in doing Titanfall, even though I love Titanfall. But going into this one, or like going into this show, sorry, coming out of Titan, I'm all over the place. Gotta focus up. When I finished New Frontiers, I wanted to make things more like an anthology, kind of like Secret Level or Love, Death, and Robots. That was my goal. We had the Red Dead Redemption short, and that was a great start. Then I was like, I really like this game Helldivers. I'm going to make a whole movie out of it. And rather than staying on the path of making short films, I decided to make a movie. Ended up being a pretty good gamble. So, going into making this show, I wanted to return to this idea of like, I don't want to make different variations of the same film over and over and over again. I don't want to make episode 1 and then episode 1 on a desert planet, you know? So it's like right out of the gate and looking into it, I was like, okay, what are like the most unpopular war bonds? Like, I think every war bond has its fans, but like, what are the ones that are like the people maybe don't play as much or aren't as popular, and like, let's make those the first 2 episodes, and let's make those 2 episodes so incredibly different to say right off the bat, it's like, this is what the show is every time you get it, you're getting a different flavor. And so this episode is more of a comedy, and just leaning into what it is with the cops, because there's a gritty story you can tell for sure, where there's like riots in the streets and, you know, whatever you want to do with it. You can make this super dark and gritty, but what the war bonds are lend themselves better, in my opinion, to being a little bit funnier. And if it didn't work, I posted the models in the Helldivers archive, so if somebody doesn't like it, they can make their own. Unreal Engine's free. I was trying to tell my mom about this whole fundraiser, and she was struggling to understand how a gaming community could raise so much money. Yeah. Oh, you got the shirt too. That's awesome. Literally same flame, LOL. My mom was not understanding, but very supportive. Yeah, she was like, that's cool, but how did one donation from a dev do this, then go to 2 years of Helldivers lore to explain? Force of Law was always up there for me because of the jackboot. Has always been my favorite helmet. It's a pretty solid helmet. I always grow such a deeper appreciation for the armors after working on these, and the war bonds in general. They're pretty cool. All right. Let's get into it. Quick check before we start. 233, 570, 85. That's where we're at. This one was 9 weeks. I had a typo there. And a new theme featuring Valkynix on the guitar. One thing I want to say. The pacifier is pretty goated. I was skeptical about the tone change at first, but I was sold at the moment where Mason Jamoa has a flashback about his friend. This is something. I hope this doesn't come across as an egotistical thing, but it is something that I've been thinking about a lot. I've been thinking about since For Liberty came out, because I think that was the first time that I was like it dawned on me like the size of the project we had pulled off. New Frontiers I felt like was a little bit different. New Frontiers was like a lot of people that I knew personally. So I think it was a little bit different in that regard, which like super grateful for all of them and the new people that I met through that and everybody that came together and whatnot. But since For Liberty came out and like doing these, like I always I've wanted to make the credits one, like I just like the idea of like credits that people actually want to sit through, because I think people deserve recognition. But like I've also kind of come to realize it's like completing projects like this, and like one is like so rare, and like I just really hope that everybody involved kind of sees their name come up and like gets like a sense of pride, or just like the like, that's my name, that's so cool. Because I know if I had seen that, like even now, like I don't see, I like my name becomes invisible to me when it plays in the credits. But like if I saw my name on like something like that would be really cool. Even though I know that my name is in these credits, but like it's invisible to me because that's just my brain shuts it off. But yeah, that's something that I really hope like everybody like gets pumped up over when they see their own name come up, or like when they show it to like their friends and family and they see their name pop up. I hope it feels super badass. Internet culture is so crazy for indie development. Like, to put into perspective, if every in just the us donated $1, y'all would have 260 million for your project. What? Oh, like all Helldivers players? I'm not sure what you're saying, but yeah, I mean, like people who can support do, and then, you know, like I always say, if people are just here to view, like by all means. I think this is the way that art should be done. It would just be really great to be able to make a living off of it. You get hype from seeing my name, Dick Babe.
Listen up, valiant Helldivers, for democracy will not repeat itself twice. The city of New Alexandria's electrical grid.
People ask about the New Alexandria, or all the comments that I get about it, and why it's not in the ODST episode, that you know of. But the fact that it's set there in this episode, it is literally because Kevin is a huge Halo fan. If I ever somehow get in the project, my mom is gonna be like, "You did what? Why did you put your legal name on the internet for strangers to see?" Yo, Forrest McGilvery, that's right, it's Forrest. He's such a cool guy.
Faces a catastrophic bomb threat. 157 kilometers of humanity hang in the balance. Your objectives: clear the streets, locate this detonator and disarm that bomb. So whether it be apostates of democracy or whispers of undemocratic behavior, permission to excoriate either which vermin stand in your way. Together, you are the stalwarts of justice. You are the Strategic Quadrant Unified Interdiction and Response Task Force.
We need that detonator. Chief reports the target is an 18.
This guy's British, and it continues to prove to me that British people are better at American accents than Americans are. I know that's sacrilegious to say. At least I didn't say it next weekend.
The 35-year-old John Doe with disposable income.
We got a name?
No.
I don't know if he's British. He's from England, though. The UK.
Flying blind.
What else is new? Sounds like another Tuesday at the office.
This is also when we were using the marionette mocap, which I think for these for what we needed and stuff, and I think it is a super useful piece of software. Unfortunately, it just got put to rest by Unreal Engine putting for free what their version of video-based motion capture native in Unreal Engine 5.8. So I gotta cancel my Marionette subscription, but it did work well for what we needed it to do here. So this whole opening bit, because the motion capture suit was broken, had to be done this way. Yeah, it's all in all the comments, Ben. All the comments. I get it. I was very skeptical, but Kevin was adamant. I was like, it's like a squirt gun, you know? Squirt guns aren't bad.
That's what I like about you, Super Officer Mason Jamoa. You're like a brother to me.
Fun story. So, there was a draft that Kevin had sent to me. I was going through and doing some edits. Wesson was actually completely re-added, because originally it was just supposed to be the two of them, but this was Jack Smith and this was Smith Wesson. And then the Jason Momoa thing getting announced happened. So I was like, oh, this is the episode to do Mason Jamoa, which thank goodness we did, because the day after we put this out was the whole like Jason Momoa no longer working on the Helldivers film or whatever. But so we had to add like a completely other character back in to keep the Smith and Wesson joke. But so I was like writing this where they do the Arnold clamp thing, and like Mrs. Coalition was watching me like write, and like she just saw the line where it's like you know you're like a brother to me, and then it's like the two of them dap up, and the like the flexing of their muscles like cause their capes to flutter out or something like that. And she was like, this is nothing like episode 1, is it? Jason Momoa saw Jason's number and knew he couldn't beat him. Exactly. He saw the episode and was like, nah, I can't compete with that.
Are you guys ready?
I believe discretion was advised.
Discretion was considered.
And judiciously ignored.
So in universe, the suits alone are allegedly like $5 million. Then warp packs, I have to imagine, are probably a cool couple mil when converted to USD. So it do be Ruby. But that's what I was talking about earlier, where it's like they wouldn't just hand those to the meat grinder hell divers. So there's got to be a little bit of separation.
Everyone, just stay inside your homes and keep the news on.
Disarm the bomb. Clear the.
I was really skeptical about doing the. So I wrote in the split screens because like we needed to communicate all of this faster and it was taking too long, and I was messing around with like how would it work, and having them cross over into each other's ended up being the best solution. But it was also one of those things where I was like, I've never seen that before. What are your thoughts on the tonal differences? We had a similar concern early on with our series between episodes. I like it doesn't like bother me at all. I think to me it's like when there is a tonal shift or you do whatever, commit to that 110%. Cause like, you know, when you go and do the next thing, like you have to be so committed to it that like people believe that it's authentic. I suppose it's kind of hard for me to say exactly, but like I don't have a single comment of people being like, oh, like you guys tried to do the comedy and it didn't work. It's like people are mad that we did an episode that's comedy, but there's not a single comment about how the comedy didn't work or didn't land. And that's because we fully committed to it. I think that's like the difference. If you can't fully commit to it, cut it and figure out something else.
Streets. And kill the freaks.
You can leave the streets to us.
And when we're done, this roadblock has a date with a damn fine piece of democracy.
Stay vigilant, Helldivers. Your infatuations can wait until we find that bomb.
I do have to completely cut out people walking forward and talking because I cannot make it look good. I need to figure out a better solution for that. What I need to get is a treadmill. If I had a treadmill, that would probably look 1,000,000 times better.
Suspicious light detected. Ready to breach. Stack up. Minimum friendly fire. Acknowledged. Protect and serve.
Reading this part in Kevin's script, I audibly laughed at this because like I didn't know it was coming. And I think that's been one of the most fun parts is like getting those little surprises and stuff, like having that first time experience with a project that I'm working on, because I never get that. So like reading through and reading this joke for the first time made me laugh so hard. He used a treadmill and combined the upper half, torso, hands with pre-made walk cycle. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that I need to do because I've tried it so many times, like trying to do exactly that, but like do the lower, like just like walk in place, and it doesn't work. I just need to get a treadmill. The best it has looked doing that, and even still it's a little bit rough, was an episode or in For Liberty when like they're walking like after this like next to the crashed Pelican, and then they're walking. That part looked okay. It's Ruby in the chat. Yo, we got Space Cadet Ruby.
Clear.
These models came from Big, Medium, Small, and we bought like a zombie animation pack, and that saved us so much time. That is what our precious members are able to help with. Stuff like that. On top of getting people compensated, we're able to be like, what is gonna save time? We need all these different civilian zombie looking people. So we bought this zombie pack and just made the eyes blue. I'm working right now, but I heard this was happening right now. Hey, yeah, it's happening right now. We're more important than work. I say, but if I was at work, I'd probably say the same thing. So happy to have you here, though, Ruby. Yay! Got that Call of Duty Zombies sound. This reel has 3.7 million views on YouTube, which kind of blew me away. I didn't think this clip would go as far as it did. But I suppose that's like another thing to address is just like these more tentacly-esque Illuminate. I think it really comes down to like of course, you're so right, Mr. Plot. I'm hiding my phone. I always try to think of ways like how do you make the enemy more interesting than like in game, or like how do you add something that you don't really get to see. So like here, just making them more like octopus squid like, and like kind of like I've always wanted to do. It's like been on my bucket list ever since I was a kid. In Pirates of the Caribbean, when Davy Jones like takes the keys from the guy and like just basically like like I don't even know what you would call it, but like just completely obliterates his brains, turns him into goopy goop, and like sticks a tentacle in his ear and it comes out his mouth or whatever, like that kind of gross stuff. Like that has always stuck with me, and I've wanted to try and get it in somewhere, and this was like my first actual attempt to do it. Is motion capture for zombies very difficult? Not in particular. We bought a pack for a lot of these and used like game animations as well, but I've definitely done zombie-esque motion capture before, and it's surprisingly easy because it already crosses an uncanny valley by the very nature of it being a zombie, and so you have to do less cleanup on the motion capture.
No, don't let him take my right to... That's what I like about you, Super Officer Mason Jamoa. You're like a brother to me.
The full force of the law. Just like you would have wanted.
So this is my thing with this episode. We're 4 minutes in, right? I feel like it's been pretty well established that like this is tonally very different than the first episode. But I think if you get this far into it and still don't get it, you might need to go see a doctor. You may need to seek professional help, because you should know by now that you're not getting the same kind of cake.
This is one hell of a Tuesday at the office, Jamoa.
The whole apartment building must be infected. This will be a hell of a lot of paperwork.
Ruby, it's you!
Epoch!
I was in Tana's stream earlier, and when I showed up, she was talking about how like everybody in her community like absolutely loves this and stuff. And I was like, oh, I know, from the 400 different comments that I got that are just epoch. But no, it's like, this is the kind of stuff that, like, if I can squeeze it in, I like to squeeze in like just community references and stuff. Because it's like, nobody else is gonna do it. Sony's not gonna do that, so we did it. There's the countdown. So exactly from this point, in 55 seconds, the bomb blows up.
Disposable income. It's him.
Pursuing. Stop resisting. Democracy.
If you're not subscribed to a girl named Jax, she's the one who voices the Apollyon here. And she absolutely crushed it. Bro, when this episode came, it was early in the morning, so everyone was asleep. I was sharing a room with my sister's boyfriend. It was so hard to hold in my laughter.
No sign of the bomb. Continuing sweep.
How's it going outside, my patriotic Pookie Bear?
Fun fact. So, Ryan C. Reeveshot, who voices Carl Suburban, let's just say he has a little thing for the AMR. It's a lifestyle for him. And there was, when I was going through and doing the blocking and the storyboard and stuff, I was like, I feel like that should be a little bit, you know, we should find a way to highlight that. And so for this episode, I was like, there's a 4-second clip where he just needs to be firing a gun. So made it the AMR just for Reeves. Also, I've gotten comments from people who are like, why are the pacifier rounds exploding? It's like, you fire any gun, lethal or non-lethal, into a concrete wall and let me know what happens. I remember you guys making fun of me for that on the last stream. We have fun. We love Reeves.
Situation here. Super.
LMAO, that scene with her cutting to the boys having fun on the emplacement always gets me. It's a good one.
Officer Mason Jameau is in pursuit of the John Doe.
Lightning round.
That was an improv line by Jacob Ramsey, who voices Mason Jamoa, the lightning round. And when I heard it, that was added like the day before the film came out. And I heard it, and I was like, there were a few ad-lib lines that the actors gave me that like I didn't get a chance to listen to until I was doing like the final dialogue pass. I was like, this is too good to pass up, so it ended up in there. And lightning round was one of them that wasn't in the script or anything. He just threw that in for that when he's rounding the corner. That, him jumping through the window, there were so many different things that I tried to do for the window break that were so tedious and kept having issues, and I thought I found a solution and that I was super stoked on that didn't end up working. So what this is, the Illuminate device, what is that name? That is another. That's a Danny Langdon original, and it's the device that communicates with the monolith. But we wanted it to look. So I suppose I'll talk about it when it shows up and there's a better shot of it. But we wanted it to mimic the look of the monolith, and still feel like its own thing. But so the glass breaking, what that ended up being was there's an Alembic file that I have of like a concrete wall exploding. And so it is literally just that Alembic file, which an Alembic file is basically like 3D geometry that can be replayed, like animated 3D geometry that you can replay in a 3D space. And so I just took that, instead this like exploding concrete wall, scaled it down, made a couple duplicates, and threw a glass material on it. And that's what you're seeing here, and it worked pretty well. in both shots, when he jumps through the window and then here. There's the Titanfall engine crash sound that I use and everything. So, just to show this a little bit more. So, this is like a lot what the monolith looks like with like the wires and everything. But Kevin really wanted this to look like a Dr. Doofenshmirtz like style remote. And so Danny took that input, wanting it to look like an Illuminate device, and came up with this design. And it looks so good. It looks like it's from the game. But it's something that she designed that is very spot on.
You might not have been a cop, but you were a damn good helldiver.
This is another example. I saw a comment where somebody had like brought this up as like as a bad thing about the episode, the fact that this does happen. But once again, because of what we're making, but another thing that I always try to apply is like, what can you only do with this story or whatever? There is not a single other opportunity in Helldivers where there is a suit that defibrillates you. And so having that be a gag, like this gag can only exist in this episode because of the tone that we chose and the equipment that it provided to us.
Mason Jamoa, it says here that you've inflicted over 19,000 counts of friendly fire and super taxpayer damages. Is this true?
This was, again, it was one of those, when I read it on Kevin's first draft, I cracked up seeing it. But the oh, hey Drago, it's been a minute since I've seen you in chat. How's it going? But animating it was also a lot of fun because it's literally, he's like, I'm just scaling up all the limbs and like his torso and his head and everything. So he's literally just growing and growing and growing and growing as he's coming over. It's a good one. It's the most replayed part. I'm not totally surprised. I'm glad it is. It's a good joke.
Yes, sir. Good job, son. Keeping the numbers low. Now what are we gonna do since the John doesn't bigger?
You've gotta stop doing that.
How's crowd control going?
Run, Suburban! There's no retreat. It's a tactical repositioning.
Sounds like we're gonna need a new ride. And the best damn squad car on the force is out of commission.
I put that line in specifically for my real life best friend, who the only way that we can really hang out nowadays is through gaming, specifically through Helldivers for the last couple of years. But he swears by the FRV, and we were both like huge fans of Kung Fury when it first came out. And so, like, the culmination of so many things that we're into and have evolved our friendship, I wanted to inject into this, you know, the best damn squad car on the force is out of commission. So that one was spiritually written for him.
Who said anything about a car?
Incredible model by Lord Cringefest. Immaculate. Looks so cool. I suppose I can talk about... This is a better shot. Because Ruby looks badass. Like, what went into the design of this, and how did we want to change it from from Helldivers 1? And we went through a lot of different iterations of it. Actually, since it's out now, I know Cringefest posted it on social media, but I'll show it here as well. Let me see. Let's see the different variations. So this was the first set of bike iterations that we pulled from. Obviously, this one had like a lot of the weight of the direction that we went, but we took things from each of them, and then this was the next set of iterations on the bike. And it was one of those things where we decided like pretty early on that we didn't want to do the side cart just because of like for animation purposes, for how it would work. We were like, it should really just be a 2-seater with ample room to where it's like somebody could lazily sit back, or they could be like basically in sports mode, like pulled up. So this was the next iteration where it kind of got a little bit more Batmobile-like, and we leaned very heavily into this first one and reshaped the shield to feel a little bit more like this one. And then this was like the final bike concept with some different art ideas to go with it. We went with the original here. And I thought there was another. There's another one somewhere. Oh, you know what? It might be all the way back out here. Lehi. There it is. And then this was like the final that we went with, which is the same as this paint job. Just showed up a little bit more. So that's what it looked like in concept, and then it became this in the film. You put a bunch of Helldiver stickers on it. Nice. The concept B looks like a tractor a little bit.
Serve up some freedom.
This was another joke in there by
Serve up some freedom.
by Jacob Ramsey, having the sign on there that says "Too Fast," which was a very like he mentioned that in like one of the first play blasts, and it was one of the last things that I added to the film, but we snuck it in. Grape, fun story. So the guy who animated this, Murphy's Law, he specifically requested to animate this shot because when he heard your performance in the play blast, he thought it was so funny. He was like, I need to, like, I immediately have a vision for this. Please, can I animate it? And so he animated this sequence, and it's so good because of it. Specifically the way that, like, she sinks down, like, more and more shot to shot after this.
I'm trying! No bomb. Oh, no bomb. No bomb. Illuminate monolith. No bomb! Hey.
Also, fun fact. We'll get back to it here in just a second.
No bomb. Oh, no bomb. No bomb. Illuminate monolith. No bomb.
This, where her cape gets caught on her, total accident. That's a simulation issue, but when I saw it, it was so funny that I left it. I didn't bother fixing it because I was like, it's even funnier, and it makes it work even better to have it get caught up on her.
Hey, you heard her, right?
No, da.
Another little fun fact. I'm revealing all the little things.
No, da.
There's nobody on the bikes in the shot. Everybody loves V2. V2 is a fan favorite. Strider of Valor is actually in love with V2. He wants V2 to be a real person.
Intersection in 10 seconds. We'll pick you up.
And we're coming in hot.
That's a lot of illuminate, even for you.
Another improv line. I don't even think it was for this scene specifically, but when I heard Ryan's version of it, everybody's fighting over V2 now. She's dead, so the character model is on the Helldivers archive. But when I heard it, I was like, "Oh, that line would work like really well over here."
Dive, boys.
Okay, you can barely see it, but Ludwig Hernandez Chavez, or Unexpired Talkies as he is in the Discord, animated Butch over here. He lands in one of these. He like lands like this, and it's one of those things where it happens like so quick and he's like out of the way so you can't really see it, but it was it definitely needed to be kept. But the fact that he went in and animated him to land in that pose was so funny.
These babies are almost as effective as the legal system.
And twice as fast. Get on.
Okay, so fun fact about the bikes. Carson did most of the sound design of the bikes using like his car, and he recorded a bunch of different sounds and stuff. But there was something a little bit missing, and it was like basically like they needed to have a little bit of a deeper growly sound to kind of have that like Batmobile-esque feeling to them. I was like, how do we add that? I don't want to like go and get a bunch of like stock sound effects and try to make those work. And then I remembered a few years ago, I had recorded a bunch of audio of dirt rally cars. So it's all these like like cobbled together engines, motors and crap, and these cars that different people have, like all the way from the high end to like the like, you know, like just these beater vehicles. And so I had recorded a whole bunch of them. It was for a show that I was working on. I filmed an episode for the show, and I was like, I'm gonna put these in my back pocket. I'll use them one day. And this episode was the day. So it's filled with all these rally car sounds that I recorded a few years ago that just had all this like to them. It worked incredibly well. I'm very happy with how it turned out in the episode. And some of them are like, you know, pitched down and redistorted and all that kind of stuff, but I'm really happy with how it turned out. Bro, I was so worried that no one would like V2 because of the audience we got for the Steve Chan reel I did with you. Wait, that was you? Yes, that was my voice. That was. Grape is so talented. The Steve Chan video, it got mixed reviews. I think people were more upset about it because it was like the first test in our new system of like, look how much better we can make everything look. I think people were really put off by like how much more realistic it looked on top of everything else. That was like our first test into this. And so just like killing a fandom character. What are we up to, by the way? $234,175.85. We could hit that 240. We just might. I won't be awake when it happens, but we'll see. LMAO, Grape, and I had to keep hyping each other up, I think, as we recorded our lines. That is so amazing. I love that. Wait, V2 people sim for her. Steve Chan people sim for her. I'm starting to see a trend.
It's not a bomb, Helldivers.
What?
It's not a bomb. It's a monolith. The illuminated presence here is worse than we thought. You must start seeing all.
Fun story about the churro stand. This was another one that Kevin was like, please, like, we need the churro stand. And I was like, okay, I'll see what I can do. It was once again a very last minute addition to it, but he had told me in every screenplay he's written or like project he's like led in any capacity, he snuck a churro stand into every single one of them without fail. And so for that reason we had to get a churro stand inside the film. And so that is why it is here with them in the shopping cart. Them in the shopping cart was earlier in the play blast because I was like, hey, I'm working on the churro stand thing, but for now I just put him in a shopping cart. And he thought that was so funny that I was like, well, why, we can just have both.
We've reached the same conclusion.
This building the city around this, so we did the play blast first with just the road so we could figure out where people were driving, which like definitely works. So like the city has like these different districts and stuff, but I think one of the harder parts was like once we got like a city in there was making it as detailed as we could without making it feel repetitive. That was like, there are certain things that you can repeat, like trash cans and benches and stuff, like easily, but like making like extended environment that didn't feel like they were just driving in a circle was pretty difficult. I feel like we pretty nicely pulled it off. So here they're kind of driving through like sort of like the neon district or like the billboards, you know, kind of area of the city. So I tried to make each area that they drove through have a little bit of different flavor.
Then destroy the blooming thing. The money wants that. We can't. We could trigger an invasion.
There's the precursor to V2's death. Also, Owen's track here with the theme blended into it.
We think it's tethered to a secondary device. Like a homing beacon? Yes! Oh, that might be it. Permission to destroy it. Will you quit doing that?
This, so, fun fact.
A secondary device. Like a homing beacon? Yes! Oh, that might be
I don't know what it
Permission to
was
destroy it.
about this shot specifically, but there was something about this when I saw this rendered for the first time. I was like, I think we leveled up. It's like I don't know what it was about this shot that did it for me, but I was like, I think we leveled up. Just the fidelity, and it might just be because they're driving in the motion blur and everything, paired with the lighting and stuff. But overall, like, I was like, dang, that turned out pretty good. Also, the guys who did accents for this, I was blown away. They did incredible jobs. Yeah, no. Lucas Martinez, who voices the prototype Type 16, the guy with the heavy accent, he did so good, and most of his lines are ad-libbed or just like random things he threw in there. So like these things need disabling with gentle finger touch, not destroying like monkey with hammer. Like that was something he just threw in there. It's all so good. Unrealistic, the Arc Dog would have killed them off by now. 0 out of 10.
Will you quit doing that? Denied, idiot. Things need disabling with gentle finger touch, not destroying like monkey with hammer. That beacon might need it away from anything illuminate. So if you've got it, then we're bait, just like in 82. Understood. Loud and clear.
Once again, because of the story that we're telling, you can only make a just like in 82 or just like in 89, like that kind of joke. You can only make it here because in Helldivers, it takes place in now 2186. So, like, you can realistically make an 80s joke that is literally like a callback to like oh, it was just like that year in the 80s. It's like, you can only do that in a campy cop film like this. And so being able to put that in there, it was like just another win. And again, it's that, what Sam was asking about earlier. It's like, it is fully committing to what it is and doing that. And I think it works well. Such a cool shot. So originally, it was longer, like the way that Christy jumps up. I'll try to pause it.
Understood. Loud and clear.
Let me try to hit the pause at the right time. Okay, so this part where she jumps up, this was supposed to be longer, but when the animator was working on it, he had mentioned like early on, he was like, I would really love to do that shot. And I was like, all right, well, we'll put it on the back burner for now and do a few others. And then like he got through those, and I was like, all right, like let's go back to this shot. And it was originally longer. She was like up there longer. There was more of like a plant, and then she jumps off. And when he animated it, he made it shorter so she could spend more time getting back on the bike, which I think was I was like a Markiplier flying through the air. But yeah, so he ended up making it shorter so she could spend more time getting back on the bike, which was definitely the right call. But then this, combining it with the lighting and the additional VFX that is literally just for like 2 frames, the lightning strike, the purple lightning strike for the warp pack, went that much further to make this work, and it looks so cool.
So you want to dance, huh? Well, here's my glow stick. Oh, that's so much better.
I don't have a one-liner. Just 2 guns.
Then there's Ruby with the greatest one-liner in the whole film. It works so well. It's so good. That combined with the music and the laser at the same time. Oh, it hits. It hits. LMAO, the air with the street scout planting his stun lance into the spot where the overseer's body is non-existent. Hey, you know, I've seen that pointed out a couple of times.
I don't have a one-liner.
We're brazen through things sometimes. He's behind the street curb. Yeah, he's back there. You did so good with the line. It's so good. Another improv moment by Reeves and Cliff was that little back and forth thing. Originally there was no dialogue there, and they added that.
This fish is out of the tank.
Okay. This line is so dumb. We were in a meeting before the ending was written, so we had really like no idea where the ending was quite gonna head just yet. The tank wasn't in there yet. We knew we wanted to add it. But like, how do we get there organically? So we were going over the first draft, and me and Kevin were just like spitballing different ideas and whatever. And I was like, yeah, they should like just like show up in the tank and just like drop like the dumbest pun or like something that is just like there's a movie, I can't remember what it is, but where Arnold Schwarzenegger like shoots an alligator, and he goes, "Now your luggage," and it's like, what? Like, obviously, like, yeah, the like you know, you can make like like alligator skin baggage or whatever, but I was like, you know, so we need to come up with a line that's like just as dumb as that. And like, I thought for like maybe a full second and a half, and I was like, I don't know, like, you know, looks like this fish is out of the tank. And Kevin cracked up so hard. He was like, I'm adding that exactly like that. And so now it's in there.
I know. We are the best thing you have seen all day, eh?
Thanks for dropping by. Appreciate it. Wait, weren't there like 3 of you before?
Oh yeah, V2? She died.
What? Turns out you're not supposed to touch those monoliths, but science requires sacrifice.
We didn't.
The full recording. Hold up. I feel like I need to pull it up because it's on stream. And the amount of love that V2 gets, I feel like we need to pull it up. The full line of what is said there with the bleh. Let me pull that up real quick while Grape is on stream. Let's see here. Here we go. Get ready for it. You're in for a treat. Is it this one?
I'm dead! Plot, I died!
There it is. That's where the bleh comes from. Is that right there?
Dead! Plot, I died!
So there you go. That's where the bleh comes from. That's right, Grape. It was gonna come out eventually. We need the extended animation this instant. It's the new Wilhelm scream, basically.
Stop the invasion.
But we might be able to stop the next one. If you can extract on the other side of that bridge, the Ministry of Science may be able to utilize that homing device to command the Illuminate fleet.
Oh, like reverse the polarity.
Sure, buddy.
But I can't just leave you all here. I've already lost my mentor, my best friend, his friend, and those other 2 who I'm pretty sure were friends.
This is what we do, Helldiver.
So, in these, I'll pause it on the next Illuminate shot.
I make a better roadblock than a backseat driver.
We didn't have much choice that night, but we all knew this was big.
Okay, so if you go back and watch the trailer, and pull up this exact same shot, there are like only about like 20% of the Illuminate that are in this shot, in any of these shots. In the end, the system for doing the mass spawns of the Illuminate that I was showing off, like earlier in production, that completely broke before we put the trailer out. And so it just did not work. And so I came up with like a haphazard solution to get it to work for the trailer. And then I was essentially like, I need to go back and figure that out, because like this scene loses so much impact without like these hundreds of Illuminate on the bridge coming in from the sides, and the next shots where they're dropping off and stuff like that. Like I needed to add it back in. So that was the day before it came out, I was trying to fix and get this working again. Because it also just makes this shot in general so much more powerful with them standing here on the tank and stuff. And obviously I had, but that was like, if you go back and watch the trailers, any of the shots that's in the trailer, there are far less Illuminate because it just was not working. But I got it fixed and working for this next shot. But it did still have a bug, which in the last shot, which I'll kind of talk about here in a moment, But it was basically, it had to be like 16 different renders all stitched and comped together.
Better than any of us. They weren't just the best cops I'd ever worked with. They were the greatest Helldivers New Alexandria had ever seen.
This is another like thing that we like to do with the war bonds, is like, if there's a way to subtly like just point to something that's in the war bond, like the Spartan kick. Yeah, that's something we want to find a way to fit in there organically. And when it works, it works. When it hits, you know?
I may have lived to see another day, but I'll continue to recount their bravery and heroism that night. For as long as we tell their stories, the dead will never die.
So the bug that happened here, which Jacob Ramsey doing an incredible monologue to close this out. But so this shot, basically what happened was, if I tried to render this shot from this perspective, all the illuminate would disappear. And so I had to render this shot. It's like split up, like one frame is like about that size, and so it's like 16 of those like all stitched together. And then like I ended up doing the digital camera movement to hide some issues that were happening, because there are still issues with the shot, but again, it was so late into development and trying to get this to work, and then all the issues with the plugin, it was like, I gotta go with what I got. This was it. But no, Jacob did an incredible job with it. So all right, so those were the first two episodes. I wasn't expecting the stream to go quite this long, but I think it's a good way to cap things off. So I would recommend, I don't know who else is streaming right now, but definitely go seek them out. I think Sister Hellgast was the other streamer that was streaming about the same time or right after me. So go check out their stream. Let's see where we're at. Final tally before I jump off. We are at $237,922.82. We are so close to crossing to 238,000. You know what? It's the end of the end of the event. I'm gonna go in here. I'm gonna try and get it as close to jumping up over to, what would it be? 238,000. We'll donate $75. Oh, not 750. I ain't got that to donate, but I would encourage anybody else to also go and donate, and then you can also do the poster thing. So there we go. Yep. It went up again, so when I make this donation, it should go up over. All right. Let's see if it does it live. Oh, it just did. It just did. Dang it. I didn't have the screen up. But there we go. We're over $238,000 now. So, I would encourage everybody to go and donate to at least get it up to 240,000. So Mrs. Coalition and Flame of War will be correct in their prediction. But as close as we can get to this number, we will hit this because of the auction and because of the merch sales. So we will hit that in total, but it'd be cool if the donation got there. But alrighty, all of you all have a good night. I probably won't stream for a little bit because I need a break after this week. But I was more than happy to do this and help out the charity as much as we can. So, yeah, all of you have a wonderful night. We'll continue trucking on episode 3. I'm not working on it right now. I'm going to bed. So, nighty-night.